Hey y'all, so once again I am back and I did some astrological and numerology breakdowns here. So usually I don't tap into this side a lot, but I feel like it's time. I feel like I'm being led to do this more in my videos because not only do I know about tarot, oracle readings, just mediumship in general, or just reading and channeling. I also know about astrology, numerology, even though I'm not big on numerology, more so astrology, but I will try to give my best shot with the numerology breakdown, or I don't do gematria and stuff like that, but I will do my best, y'all. So bear with me, you know. Tana trying to do a little something new. High Priestess Tana trying to do a little something, for y'all different. So check this out. As I mentioned before, that Pac sampled the end of DArLiNg NiKki for the song The Hearts of Men, right? I think the reason why he was so drawn to that song is because number one, Pac was a Gemini, and Prince was a Gemini. And I think that they were very similar in a lot of ways because number one, they both end up being legends. Number two, they had very creative minds. Had very brilliant minds. And they talked about society a lot too. If you listen to Prince even way back in the 80s, Prince talked about a lot of things that really got up under people's skin. Like the was it the album called Controversy, and he had a song called Controversy, and he had a lot of songs that pissed people off. Even when he got older, he had other music, albums that he came out with later, and they had very strong like political and social statements behind them. And we know Pac did not bite his tongue either. So I think that Pac had some type of admiration for Prince because we know Pac talked a lot about social injustice. He was happy to be a black man. Prince also talked about basically a lot of things that he experienced in his country too. But even though he may not has been proactively black and proud, I guess you would say, like Pac was, and it says he was like he was very I think Prince, and both Pac and Prince were for the people, period. But I think that Pac was, we could easily agree that he was more pro-black, because he had parents who were both Black Panthers, Afeni Shakur and Billy Garland. His father, his biological father, whom he found out was his father later on in his life, but not too long before he passed. I think it was like a few years prior before he passed, he found out who his father really was. Now, let's break something down here. Tupac died September 13th, 1996. So what I did was I broke down the 9/13/96. So I did 9 plus 4 plus 15 because I took the 9, I added the 13 with the 1 plus 3, so I did 9 plus 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 6. And what I did was I broke that down again to 9 plus 4 plus 15, and it'll give you 28. Break that down. 2 plus 8 equals 10, right? So what I also noticed about Pac is that his mother's birthday, Afeni's birthday, was January 10th, y'all. I can't make this up. So check this out. I looked up the numerology meaning for 10. It means wholeness and unity, new beginnings and cycles, leadership and innovation, self-discovery and independence, karmic completion, because the number 10 does mean completion, and that could mean specifically with a karmic cycle, okay? Saturn in the 10th house. And the 10th house rules career, ambition, and public reputation. We all know that Pac went through hell. He went through hell, y'all, when it came to his career, his reputation, And he was very ambitious, which was not a bad thing because he was a very driven young man. He was a very in your face, I bite my tongue for no one, no bullshitting, zero tolerance for bullshit type of person. And he went out for what he wanted. He lived out his goals despite being in prison for what, do you know, the crimes and stuff that he was allegedly accused of and convicted of. So that was, we already know that was some crap, but I digress. Now, I noticed that Prince died on April 21st, 2016. I broke that down, 4/21/16. So I did 4 plus 3 because I did 4 plus 2 plus 1, and then I broke down the 16 to 7. So 4 plus 3 plus 7 equals 14. So let me go back because I think I didn't explain that correctly. 4/21/16. And I broke it down to 4. And with the 21, I broke it down to 3. 2 plus 1 equals 3. And I broke down the 16 to 1 plus 6 equals 7. Okay. So I did 4 plus 3 plus 7, which equals 14. So we have 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 7 is 14. I broke that 14 down. We got 1 plus 4 equals 5. I looked up that numerology meaning, and this is what I've concluded. That 5 deals with Mercury, and ironically, that's funny because he was a Gemini as well. So he was very much so in his very Gemini, mercurial, I guess you would say, type of energy. This is Prince who I am speaking of. It also dealt with balance, and he was balanced when it came to his spirituality, and I would say more like harmonious and in tune with himself, his higher self at a lot of, like, a certain stage of his life. You will notice his music became more spiritual, more of the higher consciousness. It also deals with sensuality. I was just saying that Prince was a very, very, very sensual man, very handsome, well, beautiful man, because he was, like I said, pretty. He had beautiful eyes, beautiful hair, beautiful every damn thing, to be honest. Outfits, some of the outfits, I was like, oh, I need to borrow that. Like, I was like, I need to get back, to my smaller weight so I can buy those jumpsuits. But yeah, I'm just making light out of the situation. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I liked his style a lot. Prince was on point. Okay. Yeah, so also as I'm thinking about 5, I'm thinking about when it came to Prince's personality, he had a very calm demeanor, I noticed. When I'm thinking of the balance part, when he would talk, he was very calm and he thought deeply. If I didn't know any better, sometimes I would have thought Prince was a Pisces because I feel like his crown chakra was like astronomical. So I wanted to just touch base on that. Those were just some things that I pointed out. I hope y'all enjoyed that. But also, I would like to go ahead and just conclude everything. I thought the last video was going to be the final version of what I wanted to conclude, but apparently that didn't work out accordingly, I guess, as I thought. So yeah. So anyway, I thought that was really interesting how Pac chose that song. Well, I mean, chose that sample of that particular Prince song of all songs to be on his album for All Eyes on Me, because it actually seemed very dark in nature, like far as like the theme, like it had a very occult feel to it. Like it was very kind of witchy. sounding like dark witch, like, like it was crazy, but it was very, I think I don't know if he chose, well, I would want to say he chose that, because if I'm not mistaken, DJ Quick produced that song. I forgot if any other DJs were included. I don't want to not include anyone, but I do remember DJ Quick, if I recall correctly. It's been so long ago, y'all, since that album dropped. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, and I do believe DJ Quick was one of the producers, or the only producer, of that specific song. And there were other samples, like Richard Pryor actually lightened the mood, because it was a sample from one of his old stand-up comedy specials. And Richard Pryor was funny. Yeah, some of the stuff he said was a little bit, outlandish, but it was funny for the most part. And it lightened the mood. And I'm thinking, was that done on purpose? Like, you got these scary sounding lyrics. Well, not lyrics, but harmony, or whatever, how you want to put it. It sounded like a hymn almost, with Prince, with the "Darling NiKki," with the ha ha ha. It was wild. But when you put all of it together, it actually sound good though. And it as sinister as that end of that song sound, but like I said, when you played it forwards, that line, that last part of the song of "DArLiNg NiKki," it was nothing sinister about it at all. I think maybe Prince was battling himself at the time, like, I'm making this music and it's coming off like the devil's music, but I'm really trying to fight myself here, like this duality. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making this music about sex and rock and roll and lust and passion and sensuality, and doing some things that are considered not the norm sexually or whatever. It was taboo back then. But at the same time, I think that Prince was looking inward for more spiritual knowledge. He was on a quest for something. And we know Pop was trying to evolve too. He was so young, right? Pop life was ended. I can't even say prematurely. I want to say that, but in a sense, from what I get, even from an astrological standpoint, Pop life ended because unfortunately he was not meant to live a long time. He actually fulfilled a mission, and it's like he fulfilled his mission and he was going. He was taken out tragically, unfortunately, but it was almost like, I guess you would say, fate or something. It was crazy, because it's almost like he was marked for, I don't want to say, I usually say marked for death, but it kind of like he was, like his life was troubled. Prince even was saying that he was a slave at one point, and he even changed his name to a symbol. And that was deep. That was spiritual, a deep spiritual, how would I say, type of movement, like a spiritual movement for him. Even when he did Sign of the Times and stuff before then, Prince was always reinventing himself. Pop was on the verge of reinventing himself too, because you think about it, Pop was more like conscious, pro-black, black people, this and that, we need to rise, and people need to rise, we all need to stick together, we need to do this, we need to do that. And there's this duality of, he signed with Death Row and he started bragging about bitches, cars, luxury, this nigga gonna get dealt with, blah 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 blah.